Hello everyone, welcome back to today's story. In the glamorous world of billion-dollar contracts and powerful legacies, even the strongest empire can collapse overnight. CEO Alex, once hailed as a symbol of success, now faces the darkest chapter of his life. His family's corporation is on the brink of bankruptcy. Every headline screams of scandal, every phone call brings more devastating news, and every board member demands a ruthless solution. Yet, in the middle of this chaos, there is one fragile light. Lytuna, the woman who gave him love when the world only demanded power. Now Alex is trapped in an impossible choice. Save the corporation by agreeing to a marriage alliance that could restore fortune, or follow his heart, stand by Lytuna, and risk losing everything. Stay with us, because what happens next will test not only Alex's strength as a CEO, but also his courage as a man in love. The sun had barely risen, yet the boardroom of the Carter Corporation buzzed with restless energy. Stacks of financial reports lay scattered across the mahogany table, each one whispering the same grim truth. Bankruptcy loomed like a storm cloud. Alex entered, his tailored suit a stark contrast to the shadows under his eyes. The men and women seated around the table rose in a murmur of greetings, though tension hung heavy in the air. His mother, Mrs. Lon, sat at the head of the table, her presence commanding as always. "Alex," she began, her voice sharp but unwavering. "The time for hesitation is over. Our debts grow larger every day, investors are withdrawing, and the press is circling like vultures. We need a lifeline." A senior director leaned forward. "The Zhao family has offered one. A merger, sealed by marriage. Their daughter May is ready. Her dowry and her family's investment would rescue us immediately." The words struck Alex like a blade. Marriage as a financial transaction. It was the path of safety, but also the path of sacrifice. He clenched his fists under the table, his mind racing with the image of Lytuna smiling softly as she worked her small garden, Henry's laughter echoing in the background. Mrs. Land's gaze cut into him. "This is not about love, Alex. This is survival. The Carter name cannot end under your leadership. If you truly wish to prove yourself, you will make this sacrifice." The room fell silent, the weight of her ultimatum pressing on him from every side. For a moment, Alex felt suffocated, like a man bound by invisible chains, his life dictated not by his own desires, but by the legacy he was forced to uphold. That evening, when the golden glow of dusk bathed the city, Alex found himself at Lytuna's modest home. She greeted him with her usual warmth, Henry rushing into his arms. But as Alex held them close, guilt gnawed at his chest. How could he tell her that his mother demanded he abandon their love to save an empire? Lytuna sensed his unease. She touched his arm gently. "Alex, what's wrong?" His lips trembled as he whispered, "I may have to choose between you and everything my family has built." The question hung heavy in the air, unspoken but devastating. The following days unfolded like a slow, merciless storm. Newspapers screamed headlines of collapsing stocks and angry investors. The Carter Corporation, once a symbol of unshakable wealth, had become the centerpiece of public ridicule. Alex buried himself in endless meetings. Bankers, lawyers, and consultants filled his office with jargon that offered little comfort. But behind the financial chaos loomed the ultimatum: marry Mei Zhao and save the empire, or watch everything burn to ashes. At home, Mrs. Lon pressed harder. She confronted Alex in the grand hall, her voice echoing against the marble walls. "Do you think you can protect Tuna and Henry when you're drowning in debt?" she demanded. "Love doesn't pay creditors, Alex. But this marriage will restore our power overnight. You must stop thinking like a dreamer and start thinking like a leader." Alex's jaw tightened. "A leader doesn't abandon his heart, Mother. What is power worth if I lose myself in the process?" Mrs. Land's eyes narrowed. "Self? Or selfishness? You would sacrifice hundreds of employees and your family's legacy for a woman who offers you nothing but sentiment?" The cruelty of her words sliced through him, but before he could answer, his phone vibrated. A message from Tuna. "Henry has a fever. Can you come?" He rushed to her home, the scent of herbs and warm porridge filling the modest kitchen. Tuna sat by Henry's bed, her hand gently cooling the boy's forehead. When she saw Alex, her face lit with relief, but the shadow in his eyes quickly dimmed her smile. "Did something happen again?" she asked softly, reading his silence. Alex sat beside her, taking Henry's small hand into his. "The company. It's worse than I imagined. My mother wants me to marry Mei Zhao. Her family's money would save us." Tuna's body stiffened. She turned her gaze away, blinking back sudden tears. "And what about us, Alex? Are we just temporary?" "No." His voice cracked, desperate. "You are my future. But without the company, everything my father built will collapse. Hundreds of lives will be destroyed. I don't know how to carry both burdens." Her hand trembled as she touched his. "Alex, love is not a burden, it is strength. If you truly believe in us, we can face poverty together. But if you walk away, I will know love was never your choice, only convenience." Her words pierced him deeper than any financial report. For the first time, Alex felt the abyss widening beneath his feet, an abyss where love and duty pulled him in opposite directions. That night, as he stood alone on the balcony of his penthouse, the city lights glittered like cold stars. Somewhere in the distance was Tuna, waiting with faith and pain in equal measure. Somewhere else, the Zhao family polished their offer, Mei waiting silently, a lifeline disguised as a chain. And at the center stood Alex, torn between saving an empire or saving his own heart. The boardroom smelled of polished wood and tension. Crystal glasses clinked faintly as waiters laid out a feast meant to celebrate an alliance that had not yet been sealed. At the center of the long table sat the Zhao family, impeccable, powerful, smiling with the calm assurance of people who already believed the deal was theirs. Mrs. Land sat proudly beside them, her face radiant with satisfaction. Beside her was Mei Zhao, graceful in a pale silk dress, her quiet composure exuding dignity. And at the far end, Alex, his suit perfect, his tie tight, but his eyes shadowed with exhaustion. Mrs. Lan raised her glass. Tonight marks the beginning of a new chapter. With this union, our families will not only save the Carter Corporation, but elevate it beyond what it ever was. Alex, Mei, this is destiny. Mei's lips curved into a practiced smile. "I am honored," she said softly, her gaze briefly meeting Alex's. "I only wish for harmony between our families." But Alex's fingers tightened around his glass until his knuckles turned white. The words in his chest burned like fire. Harmony for them means chains for me. Just as Mrs. Land prepared to make the engagement official, the heavy doors swung open. A hush fell over the room as Lytuna entered, her simple dress stark against the glittering wealth that surrounded her. Henry clutched her hand, his innocent eyes wide as they scanned the strangers. Gasps rippled. Mrs. Lon's expression darkened. "What are you doing here?" Lytuna stood firm, her voice steady despite the tremor in her heart. "I came because Alex deserves to choose with his heart, not with his bank account." Whispers broke out among the directors. May lowered her eyes, but her hands trembled against her lap. Mrs. Lon rose, her voice sharp. "This is not the place for theatrics. Take your child and leave." But Alex pushed back his chair, the screech of wood against marble silencing the room. "No, she stays." His voice was low, but carried the weight of years of suffocation. He turned to the Zhao family. "I respect your offer, but I cannot bind my life to a woman I don't love. My heart belongs to Lytuna." Chaos erupted. Board members protested. Investors whispered angrily. Mrs. Lon's face flushed with fury. "Do you realize what you are doing? Without this alliance, the company will collapse. Everything your father built, gone." Alex's chest heaved. "And what of me, Mother? What of the man I am? If saving the company means killing the only love I've ever known, then what is left of me to lead it?" Lytuna's eyes shimmered with tears, her grip on Henry tightening. "Alex," she whispered. The chairman of the board slammed a hand on the table. "If you refuse this marriage, Alex, you doom us all. The Carter Corporation will not survive another quarter." Silence gripped the room. All eyes turned to Alex, his mother's glare, May's quiet sorrow, Lytuna's trembling hope. He looked at each of them, the weight of the world pressing into his bones. His choice would decide not only the fate of a company, but the destiny of his heart. Taking a deep breath, Alex walked to Lytuna and Henry. He placed a hand on the boy's small shoulder, then looked up at the room. "This is my family," he declared. "If the company falls, I will rebuild. If fortune abandons us, I will work with my own hands, but I will not betray my heart, not for money, not for power, not for pride." The words hung heavy, defiant, echoing through the grand hall. Mrs. Land staggered back, stunned. May lowered her eyes, tears sliding silently down her cheek, and the board erupted into shouts. Some outraged, some astonished, none indifferent. As Alex wrapped his arm around Lytuna, the storm outside rattled the windows, as if the heavens themselves bore witness to his choice. But in the pit of his stomach, Alex knew. This was only the beginning. The real battle was about to begin. The storm outside raged well into the night, its thunder echoing the uproar that followed Alex's declaration. Within hours, newspapers lit up with headlines. CEO defies board. Carter Corporation on the brink. Stock prices tumbled, investors panicked, and rival companies circled like wolves. In the Carter mansion, Mrs. Lon sat alone in the darkened parlor, her trembling hands wrapped around a cup of untouched tea. For the first time, her iron will seemed brittle. She whispered to herself, "How could my son throw everything away? For her." Yet beneath her anger lay something she refused to admit: fear. Fear of losing not only the company but the son she had built her life around. Meanwhile, Alex and Lytuna sat in her modest home. Henry slept between them, his small breaths a fragile reminder of innocence, untouched by the chaos of the adult world. Alex reached for Tuna's hand, his voice soft but resolute. I've made my choice. Whatever comes next, I will face it with you. Tears welled in her eyes, but she shook her head. Alex, love cannot fill empty stomachs. Are you ready for the storm we will face? Your family's wrath, the company's collapse? He nodded, his gaze unwavering. I'd rather lose everything than lose you. If I must build a new life from the ashes, I will. Outside, the rain eased, replaced by the soft patter of dripping leaves. But peace did not come. A knock at the door startled them both. When Alex opened it, a messenger stood, holding an envelope sealed with the Carter Corporation crest. Inside was a single line, written in his mother's hand. You are no longer fit to lead. The board has voted you out. Alex's hand trembled as the words blurred before his eyes. Tuna pressed her palm over his, steadying him. In that moment they both knew. The battle had only begun. The empire was gone, the safety net burned. Ahead lay an uncertain future, filled with both danger and possibility. Tuna whispered, her voice breaking yet strong, Then we will build our own world together. Alex closed his eyes, pulling her close, while thunder rolled one last time across the city. The question remained. Could love alone survive the weight of ruin?
CEO Alex đối mặt với cơn bão lớn nhất đời mình. Tập đoàn gia đình đứng trước nguy cơ bị phá sản. Mẹ anh và hội đồng quản trị gây sức ép phải cưới Mayzell để cứu vãn danh tiếng và tài chính. Nhưng cả team Alex thuộc về Tử Na và bé Henry, tình yêu giản dị nhưng đầy chân thành. Khi buổi tiệc đính hôn được sắp đặt, Tử Na bất ngờ xuất hiện, buộc